What's good, gang? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about CGC and some of their recent bullshit moves, right? But to be for real though, right? This is just a two-way conversation, my opinion, good, bad, and different. For what y'all have to say, drop it down in the comments because I do care about how y'all feel as well. And this is not going to be a 45-minute waste your fucking time video talking about all the different shit that CGC has done, because there's 1,000 videos, a barrage, plethora, colossal amount out there to slap across your damn forehead that you can look at. This is just basically speaking my piece because I really want to let it out how I feel. It really makes me mad, and I've been trying to get over it, but CGC has really pissed me off. And I have been a PSA fan for a long time. Call it a fanboy, whatever the fuck you want. I don't care, right? Because PSA has the best ROI unless you get a black label, which at the time during the COVID pandemic, before they started pumping those shits out left and right to compete, Beckett was incredibly difficult to get a black label with, which carried such a premium. And even the BGS 10 is really nice. I love the gold label. It looks good. Now, when I first got my Beckett card in my hand, right, at that time I was dealing sports cards, big into sports cards, not anymore because fuck Zion, right? Cheeseburger, wasting all our money and stuff. And it just really not a good investment. So I went over to Pokemon where Pikachu can't break his knee and it's been treating me a lot better. So when I got my first Beckett slab in my hand, that shit was too thick. It was too bulky. Some people love it. I don't like it, right? I like my stuff to feel modern, to be thin, to just look nice. And honestly, I do feel like PSA slabs do feel a little bit cheap. Now, when I first got my CGC slab inside of my hand, I didn't know much about the company, but I do know that they have been grading comics for years. So they weren't, it's not like they've never been in a game. When you see all these random one-off grading companies like AGS, the bullshit, right? HGA, I get what they're trying to do. I respect that. I love the labels look different and stuff like that. Just not for me, right? Even SGC, they're big. They're big in the sports world. I love the tuxedo look, but still too plain, not for me. One thing I do like about SGC and one thing I do like about PSA is consistency, right? They don't change up their shit all the time. If you look at PSA, as far as you can go, right? Their labels, the look of their slab, the aesthetics of it pretty much look identical. You do notice different security features. You can see the code on the back, so you can look up your card in seconds and stuff like that on the population, and awesome different things that you can get. So I enjoy that, right? You have the lighthouse effect to see if the card's real. Look that up if you don't know what that is. It's a real thing, right? But it's on the front of the card, has the lighthouse effect. A lot of stuff I like about PSA slabs. And then the ROI is just a plus, right? Just a plus. Now, during COVID, getting cards back in 2 years was a fucking joke. Like, the whole tier grading system didn't even matter because it might say 2-3 months and you're getting your cards back in like 2 years. Like 2 years you get your cards back, which is insane, right? It's insane. So CGC came out and they said, you know what? We're going to get your cards back on time. We have a cheaper price. We got subgrades. Beckett has subgrades, right? People like subgrades. And let's be real with each other, right? Why do a lot of people like subgrades? They like subgrades because if they're good enough, you can swap that shit over to PSA. Because at that time, Beckett and CGC graded harder than PSA. So if I had a 9.5, I could almost guarantee that I could send that to PSA and I would get a PSA 10, which would command more money for my card, right? That's why people like that. People like the subgrade. So CGC said, you know what? We're going to team up with our sports card grading, CSG. We're going to combine these two things like they're not basically the same damn thing, right? Instead of just grading trading card games, we're going to change the label to look plain as hell because the one they had, the sky blue, actually stood out. This label looks good. I really liked the label. It was awesome. And honestly, if you look at the data, the sales per month, that CGC was actually going up. They were plus 18, not 18%. Actually, PSA was like minus 18%. But even so, right, PSA had over 1 million sales for their slabs for the month of May. Now, when you compare the other companies, right, most of them was like 66 to 68,000 sales for slabs in the month of May. Incredibly, they're just much smaller than PSA, and stats speak for themselves. No one is close to PSA, not even a fifth close to PSA. So that is just absolutely insane. So CGC was catching up. CGC, if you look at the statistics, was starting to surpass Beckett, right? Beckett was not making a lot of great moves, and CGC was making all the right moves. And then they came out here with this bullshit to axe their subgrades. People love them, and they said, wow, they're too expensive. They were not too fucking expensive. It's just that people didn't want to pay $15, $20, $30 to get your subgrades that took 2 cents full of ink to put it on your slab. Nobody wanted to pay for that because it was too pricey. So they wanted to cut that, to cut cost, or whatever the reason was, they cut the subgrades, and everyone's mad. No one likes the new label. And then to really put the cherry on top, right? All of you are tracking this, the stupid ass 9.5. They said, hey, for a few months, if you have a CGC 9.5, say it again, if you have a CGC 9.5, you can give us $5, right? It's not free. Give us $5 and pay for shipping, and we'll give you a 10, right? We'll give you a 10 so you don't leave our company. We'll make sure your card is perfect. It'll be worth more money. And that's crazy to me because there's no way to justify that shit. Because when you looked at the card and you said this card is not perfect, it is a 9.5, you put your subgrades on there, and now you're saying that I can send this 9.5 in, pay you $5 and you'll give me a 10. And now you see thousands of 9.5s slapped across eBay and everybody across social media saying, I'll buy your 9.5s. I'll buy all that shit. Of course you will. Of course you will, because it's cheap, right? People don't want this shit because they're mad at CGC and they're offing their slabs and they're forgetting the cards that are actually in the slab when they can crack that shit and just sub it somewhere else or whatever you want to do, right? Or just sub it for $5 and get a 10 back and wait for CGC to recover, because I don't think they're gone, right? I think they're going to eat a lot of their sales. I think that CGC is going to come down quite a bit. I think they're going to crash a little bit, but I don't think CGC is done. I don't think they're gone, right? People are going to forget about stuff. They are going to enjoy and come around to the slab and like the new label. I hope, right? I do. I don't want CGC to just vanish and disappear, but I'm done. I'm done with them, right? I'm done with them. I hope they can be competitive. I hope they can fix some of their wrongs. PSA, they just cemented another reason why I'm sticking to PSA. And I don't feel comfortable with Beckett, because I do feel like they've been flooding the market with black labels. I've seen more than I've ever seen in the last few months. To me, it's just obvious they're trying to compete. Now, you got CGC trying to come out with a gold label, which is obviously copying Beckett. And I don't feel like they're doing things on their own. I don't feel like it's genuine. I don't feel like the team is treating their investors and the people who put money into their slabs correctly. I don't think it's right. I don't. And if any other company did that, I would leave that shit too. If PSA pulled a move like that, I would crack all my slabs, right? I honestly would. I think the whole grading market would just collapse. So thank God for consistency. People have lost a ton of money because of this. And there's no way to take a card that you say is not perfect and then in return say it's perfect. In reality, I don't even know how the hell you got two different 10s to say, you know, one is a 10 that's okay and really nice, and the other one is like pristine, perfect. It doesn't even make sense, dude. A 10 is a 10. A 10 is flawless. I sent this into the company for the company to tell me this card is flawless. When you send it back, you're telling me it is flawless. You are the expert, right? It is not meant to be subjective. This is supposed to be objective. And when you changed your grading scale to say 9.5s or 10s, it showed me that this whole grading shit is subjective. It is bullshit. And I will be the first, well, actually, I'm not going to say that. I'm probably like the millionth person to say this, but grading is a scam, dude. It is. Do I grade my cards? Yes. Why? It's worth money. Who the fuck don't? And I like to protect my cards and I like to put them on the wall and make them look nice. So yeah, I got slabs all day. But is it bullshit? Yes. Grading is a scam. You put my card in a $2 piece of plastic and you charge me a shit ton of money, and then you just drop all of your consistency. So let me know what y'all think, right? I am pretty upset about this. And the last thing I want to show y'all just really quickly, just so y'all understand, look at this CGC Pristine 10, right? This one's selling right now, June 17th, for $275, $15 shipping, close to $300. Now let's go ahead and rewind back here. This 9.5, $157.50. So you're telling me if I spend $5, $5, that I can make, what, 120 bucks? This car is worth $120 more if I shoot it to CGC for $5. And I'm pretty sure this is across a ton of cards, right? You can look up more expensive cards, Umbreons, I don't care, alternate arts, whatever you look up, all the waifus, you're going to see that price disparity. You're going to see that major difference. Now, if you submit that $5, right, can I go out there and sell the card for that $200, that $500 markup? It's not right. Let me know what y'all think. Drop a comment. I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. I'll be back soon with another video, and I'll see y'all later. Out.